Lesson 5-6 is where you should be at in the notes. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Right? Parallel. What does it mean to be parallel? Okay, yep. Okay, two lines that are running the same direction. Never touching, right? They always run next to each other, but never touching. My example is always railroad tracks. Well, you can't say always, but I mean, but generally, until they go to, like, have a switch over or something, railroad tracks is what I think, okay? What's perpendicular mean? Specifically how? Parallel are never crossing, never touching. Perpendicular, they cross. How? At what angle?
90.
90. Okay, so perpendicular, you guys know parallel. Perpendicular is specifically crossing at a 90-degree angle, so a plus sign, a T, right? Okay, the intersection out here of 200 and 500. That's perpendicular, right? Okay, so parallel lines, what we're looking at today is an equation format. When we talk about parallel lines, they have the same slopes, because a slope talks about what angle my line goes at. So two lines that are parallel have the same slope. They just have different y-intercepts. They just cross the y-axis in different places. So the key is, when we talk about parallel lines, same slopes. That's the part you've got to know. Parallel lines have the same slope. Now, in this first section, they ask us to write an equation in slope-intercept form of the line passing through the given point and parallel to the given equation. So, first of all, okay, dig in your brains or dig back further in your notes. What is slope-intercept form?
Red of C. Red of Y.
No. What is? Don't just give me random words. Find where it says slope-intercept form in your notes and tell me what it is.
You said slope
Slope-intercept form.
Y equals mx plus b.
Okay, y equals mx plus b. So we're going to write slope-intercept form. We're going for y equals mx plus b. Now tell me, why did I only have one person looking that up? You guys,
My notes are filled out.
your notes don't have to be filled out to look that up.
Yeah.
So that was already in there.
No, sorry.
Okay, now, so we want to write y equals mx plus b. We want to use the given point. So we're using this point. What do we know about an ordered pair? What's the order in an ordered pair?
Negative.
No. What letters are these? X and Y, right? So here's X and Y. And then we need parallel to the given equation. Well, parallel lines have the same slopes. What's the slope of this line here? Y equals 2x plus 3. Where's the slope of that line? Huh? Not 3. 2. Why 2? Other than it's the other number left. Okay. Remember slope-intercept, guys? Y equals mx plus b. What stands for slope? M stands for slope, right? And so if M stands for slope, M is the number, when you have it y equals, M is the number in front of x. So this means my slope is 2. So we're going to use our x point and our y point, and we're going to write our equation in slope-intercept form. Now, I was going to do this a different way, but okay. I'm going to revert to using the other way. Slope-intercept form we just said was y equals mx plus b. Well, I have m. Besides m, I need to know b. Do you remember finding b previously? Because we did this. You did this. You had to do this on the quiz. I don't know if you've done this on the quiz yet or not. So you haven't finished your quiz. In order to find b, we're going to use our xy ordered pair and our slope. And we're going to plug them in. So what can I plug in for y? We can plug in -1. What can I plug in for m? What's my slope? The 2.
It's 2.
What's the x value I can plug in?
3.
-3. And then plus b. Your job is to find b here so we can write this equation. -1 is -1. What's 2 times -3?
6.
-6 plus b. How do I solve for b
Subtract.
and get b by itself?
Plus 6.
I wouldn't say subtract just because how do I get -6 to be 0? We're going to add 6. If I add 6 on one side, add 6 on the other side.
So it's 7.
Not if it's -1 plus 6. -1 plus 6?
5.
It's going to be 5. So we're going to have 5 equals b, or in other words, b is 5. Here's the information we need, folks. B is 5. M is 2. I'm trying to write this equation as y equals mx plus b. Can you fill them in?
Yeah.
Y equals what?
2.
2x plus,
2. The 5.
no, 5. Y equals 2x plus 5. Okay. Shall we try B? It goes quicker when you guys help me, the more you guys help me. Just saying. Okay, let's repeat the process. Make sure we know what we're doing. Ordered pair 215. What do we know about an ordered pair?
Y equals mx plus b.
Well, I'll get there in a moment, but okay. Slope intercept is y equals mx plus b. And in an ordered pair, we have
X and Y.
xy, correct? So we have our point, and if it's parallel to this line, parallel lines have the, what kind of slope? Same slope? So what's the slope of y equals 4x minus 1?
4x plus
No, what's the slope? What letter represents slope?
the Y.
No, what letter represents slope? Do you know, Lily? Slope is 4, yes. Because what letter represents slope is M. You guys got to know this by now, right? Said speak up.
7.
I am trying here, but sit up and speak up here. That way, just even talk in a normal voice like that. I can hear you just fine. Okay, so we're going to use a slope of 4, x point of 2, y point of 15, right? And we're going to use y equals mx plus b. I have to know M, and I have to know B. We already know M. The point of these problems is I need to know B. So, no, we don't know B for the actual equation already. This B right here means nothing. Okay? That number doesn't mean anything because that's just the given line. We have to find our B. So, what can I fill in for Y? It's already labeled. Y is going to be 15. Equals M. What are we using for M since it's parallel? 4 times X, which is given as 2, plus B. Do the math. Two times 4 or 4 times 2 is 8. So 15 equals 8 plus B? No. How do I get B by itself if it's 8 plus B? This time it's subtracting because it's a positive 8. If I have 8 and I want to cancel out, I have to take 8 away. So 15 minus 8 is 7. So right there we know B is 7. We already talked about the fact that M is 4. So write your equation. If it's Y equals MX plus B, and I know need M and B filled in.
Wait, what? M's 4.
M is 4. So Y equals 4X plus 7. Because we just found B to be 7, yes? Okay. This is one of the things we're doing. Parallel lines have the same slopes. So we use the same slope to find our B value. Now, we need to talk about perpendicular. So parallel lines, those were the train tracks, right? Perpendicular lines, whoops. Perpendicular lines are the lines that meet at a right angle. That's your plus sign, your T, your cross. Now, okay, this one's a little different. Are you listening? Are you watching? Perpendicular lines, our slopes are opposite reciprocals. So opposite, the opposite of being positive is negative. The opposite of being negative is positive. And reciprocal. Reciprocal means we're going to flip. Reciprocal means we flip it upside down. Okay? Robbie, sit up and take these notes with me. Jason, wake up and take these notes with me. Losing it here. Come on. Take the notes with me, guys. So, examples of perpendicular lines. 3/4, negative 4/3. So we have 3 over 4, 4 over 3. They're flipped, and they have a positive and a negative. Negative 5 and 1/5. Opposite. One's negative, one's positive. Reciprocal. What's a reciprocal of 1 over 5? 5 over 1. Okay, so anytime you have a whole number, remember it's over 1. So that's perpendicular. My next section here, parallel, or we want to know, they're going to give us 2 lines, and we want to know, are they parallel? Are they perpendicular? Or neither? Now, technically, we could graph these to figure that out. That's a lot of extra work. So instead of graphing them, we're just going to get them in the form so that we can see what their slopes are. Is this first equation in the form y equals mx plus b? It's not. It's close, but it's not in the form y equals mx plus b because it doesn't say y equals, it says 6y equals. So the first thing I gotta do is get that y by itself. If it's 6 times y, how do I get y by itself? Divide. If I divide one piece by 6, we divide the others by 6. Now, I'm going to bring this down here and write it down. Okay. 6y divided by 6 just becomes, no, 6 is canceled. We just have y. Now, negative x divided by 6. What's the invisible number in front of x? There's an invisible 1 there. So if that's negative 1x divided by 6, we can think of that as negative 1 over 6x. Plus 6 divided by 6 is 1. Now, you need to tell me. This line here and this line here. You've got 3 choices. 33% chance of getting this right. Are the lines parallel? Are the lines perpendicular? Or neither? How do I decide? We have to look at what?
The middle. With the negative 1/6x.
Yeah, okay, because we need to look at the slopes, right? And where is slope? That's the m that's part of the x. So what do we know about these two slopes?
They're the same.
They're the same. What type of lines have the same slopes? Parallel. So guess what? These lines are parallel. My explanation or my reasoning? They're parallel because they have the same slopes. Okay, try the next one. First of all, are both of my equations in the form
Yes.
y equals mx plus b? They both are? They both say y equals?
No.
No, what's that first one say?
2y.
2y equals. How do I go from 2y equals to y equals? How do I get the 2 away from the y? No, if it's 2 times y, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide by 2 here. Again, it happens to be the top line. I'm going to bring it down here. If I divide by 2, 2y divided by 2 is y. Negative 3x divided by 2. Negative 3 halves x. Plus 6 divided by 2 is 3.
6
What'd you say?
They say 6 times.
No, 6 divided by 2. What's the slope of that line we just found?
Negative 3. So it's not the same parallel.
Okay. What's the slope of the other line?
2/3.
Okay, so we have a slope of 2 over 3 and a slope of negative 3 over 2. I agree, not parallel. So then my choices, because they're not the same, so then my choices are perpendicular or neither. Yeah, are these opposite reciprocals? Is one opposite means one's positive and one's negative. Do I have one positive and one negative? Yeah, because we have a positive 2/3 and a, actually I'm going to scoot that over here. We have a positive 2/3 and we have a negative 3/2. So we have a positive and negative. Are they reciprocals of each other? Are they flipped? Yes. So these lines are perpendicular. And they're perpendicular because they have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay. One more in this section. Again, remember we're looking at y equals mx plus b. Are both equations y equals?
Yeah.
One equation is y equals, right?
Yeah.
I know that slope is 3/4. Is the other one y equals? No. They're never going to give them, well, I guess they could, but they don't usually give them both as y equals. They make you do a little work. So my job is to get y by itself. To get 3y by itself, we first want to move 4x. How do I move a positive 4x to the other side? Not divide. We're going to subtract. Since it's positive 4x, we're going to subtract. So then I still have negative 3y. I like to have these in the other order, so I'm going to put it as negative 4x plus 9. I'm just doing that because I like to have the x term first for the purposes of being able to find my slope. How do I get y by itself? Now, if it's negative 3 times y, I'm going to divide. Now, remember, I'm dividing everybody by negative 3. Negative 3y divided by negative 3 is y. 4 divided by 3 is just 4 divided by 3. But what's a negative divided by a negative? A positive. So this is going to be positive 4/3 x. And then 9 divided by negative 3 is minus 3. What's the slope of this line? 4/3.
Yeah, that flipped.
Okay, so are they the same slope? No, so they're not parallel. And the other option, if there's something, is opposite reciprocals. David, you said they're flipped, right? 3/4, 4/3. They also have to be opposite, though. Are they opposite signs? No, because here I have a positive 3/4. Here I have a positive 4/3. So if they're not the same, and they're not opposite reciprocals, they are neither. Neither parallel nor perpendicular. They are just two typical lines that are somewhere, somehow going to cross. They're not going to be parallel. They're not going to cross at a right angle. They're just going to be lines. So there you've kind of seen an example of each. You'll see some of these in homework, of course. Okay. One last topic. And this topic goes along with the top of the page. No, this is it. Okay. Up top, we had to write an equation, slope-intercept form of the line passing through the given point and parallel to the given equation. This time we're going for perpendicular. So we're going to do the same thing we did up on the first two, except we just have to use a perpendicular slope. So, let's see. What are 4 and 8? They are my xy. What is my slope of that line? Y equals 2x plus 1. What's the slope? 2, technically. But yes, it's the piece with. So here, my slope is 2. If my line was parallel, I'd use the slope of 2. since it's perpendicular, I have to use the opposite reciprocal. So, this slope is 2. What is 2 as a fraction, first of all? Anything can be made a fraction by putting it over, not over 2, but put 2 over 1. So perpendicular. The perpendicular slope is opposite. What's the opposite of positive 2 over 1? Negative. What's the reciprocal of 2 over 1? 1 over 2. So we're going to be using the slope of negative 1/2. And we're going to be using the x and y values of 4 and 8. Okay, let's find b. Y equals mx plus b. In place of y is my y value of 8. M, I'm using my perpendicular slope of negative 1/2 times x value, which is 4, plus b. 8 is going to stay over here. Negative 1/2 times 4. What's half of 4? 2. And a negative times a positive is a negative. So negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2. If it's negative 2 plus b, how do I move the negative 2 away from b? It's negative 2. I'm going to add 2. And b is 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 equals b.
We're not done though.
We just have to write our equation. We're almost done. We're writing this in slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b. Here's my m. Here's my b. So y equals negative 1/2 x plus 10. Okay. One more. Almost there.
This would be x and y.
Good.
This would be y equals mx plus b. And this would be 2y is going to be the mx.
Hold on to that thought. This one's a little different. What's the catch here? We need it to be y equals mx plus b form so we can find m, but is this y equals?
No.
No. So we've got to solve for y. We got to get this so it is y equals. How do I move the x to the other side? If it's positive x, we want to subtract x. So negative 2y. When I subtract the x over, it cancels. 7 minus x, I'm actually going to write this as negative x plus 7. To get the y by itself, if it's negative 2 times y, divide everything by negative 2. Negative 2y divided by negative 2 is the y. So now I'm going to have the y equals we were looking for. Negative x divided by negative 2. Think of that as 1 over 2 because there's an invisible 1.
So it's 1 over.
I'm going to leave it as 1 over 2. What's negative divided by negative? Positive. So I'm going to call this 1/2 x. 7 divided by negative 2, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to leave it as the minus 7/2. Because what I really need to know is the slope. What is the slope of this line? Slope of this line is y equals mx plus b. It's 1/2, right? And here's the catch. Or here's the trick. I need now my perpendicular slope. If the regular slope is 1/2, perpendicular, opposite, reciprocal. Focus up here, please. Okay, so the opposite of positive is negative. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2/1, right? So this is going to be negative 2/1, which in all honesty, I'm just going to say 2 divided by 1 is 2, right? I'm going to use negative 2. So we're going to use negative 2. And we're going to use our x and our y's. And I feel like we've done this routine a couple of times today, right? So, y equals mx plus b, right? For y, I'm using 2. What's the m we just found?
Olivia Moss, please come to the high school office. Olivia Moss.
Slope is negative 2. X is negative 3. And then plus b. Carry the 2 down. Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6 plus b. I do try and make my b's and 6's different so you can tell them apart. If it's b plus 6, or to get the 6 over away from the b, we need to subtract 6. 2 minus 6 is
4.
negative 4.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're there. Y equals mx plus b. We just found b, and previously we found m. So, y equals, the slope we found for perpendicular was negative 2x plus b. You could write plus negative 4, but better is to write minus 4. Okay. Lesson 5.6 in Math Excel. I'm going to get in there and check and see how 5.5 went.
Yeah, good morning.